Okay, Max Meyer. Tell me what you've benefited more off of, your added weight in the weight room or your LASIK?
I mean, the LASIK, I actually was joking about the LASIK. I don't know why people are actually saying it. So let's get that on record that I actually did not get LASIK.
You didn't.
I did not get LASIK. And
I was
don't know if
convinced
you
you
put
got
Someone
LASIK.
reported that.
I was fully
I know
convinced you
someone
got
did
LASIK.
report it, but I was walking, and someone said something about my goggles, and I just hit her with the one line, just LASIK, just so I didn't have to talk too much about it. And then that was the story. So I actually didn't get LASIK. I had to wear those goggles last year because, like, I had what is it called, like mold toxicity, where it affected my eyes. So whenever I got a piece of dust in it, I just went blind.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but I feel better from that, though. It was from the house that I bought in Florida. I ended up getting that off my hands and taken
Nice.
care of. But yeah, so yeah, I just didn't want to have to elaborate all that. So I just said LASIK.
Fair. Wait, that's what this podcast exists for, right? Negate the LASIK. Negate all that.
As journalists, that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to. So why aren't you wearing goggles then?
Well, my eyes are better now, so I can just throw like I used to throw.
Okay.
I don't need those goggles anymore. I didn't want to wear them in the first place. I didn't think they made me look cooler. But yeah, I like no goggles
A lot
way
of
better.
people do think they make them look cooler, man. I think
Yeah.
about Carson Fulmer at Vandy. Like, he looks
Yeah, I mean, some guys look better. Lizardo, he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look better. I've seen him without goggles on. But yeah, so he should go no goggles or look into LASIK as well.
I do want to get to the added weight, and I want to get to optimizing the pitch mix as well, but we'll start with what the offseason actually looked like. I mean, season ends, you go home in October. What have you done since reporting to camp in mid-February?
Obviously, we had all those changes with the coaching staff and stuff, so like for most guys, it was kind of on your own stuff. So I went to the University of Minnesota's strength coach, Scott McWilliams, and he always gives me a really good program. And I was able to knock that out. I have a little gym in my house that I was able to get everything in. And yeah, it was a really good off season. Was eating right. Just feel strong, feel more like I did back in college where I was just kind of wiry, and I feel really good with that strength.
So, dude, last year, I mean, let's not beat around a bush. You were dominant to start the first couple of starts of 2024. You get optioned. You didn't like it. How did you channel what was a negative situation into, I'm here, I can't control it. How am I going to channel this into a positive?
Yeah, it's obviously really hard, and at the time, it's going to be hard for everybody. Looking back at it now, it's no big deal because I just had to, everybody goes through stuff. It's not just in baseball, it's in life. Everybody has problems, and just how you deal with it, how you bounce back from them. Obviously, you're writing your own story. So looking back at it now, I'm very grateful for what happened. Obviously, in the time, I did not like it at all.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to make me a better pitcher. I knew that I needed to put my size back on, get stronger in the gym, add a couple more pitches, and actually develop those pitches. So yeah, it was a good opportunity.
I know a lot of Marlins fans are really excited about those added pitches, and a lot has been made about your conversations with Daniel Mosquez, the new Marlins pitching coach, and other guys as well when it comes to optimizing the heater and finding a third, fourth offering in your arsenal as well. It's a new pitching coach. This is a guy that's entering a new situation. What is the communication like when I'm sure you guys didn't see each other in person until you got down to Jupiter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this offseason, Moss, B-Man, all those guys were calling me almost weekly and, checking in on me. I'd be sending reports on TrackMan and all that, and they actually felt like they were hands-on even though they weren't with me, and that was so huge for me, just knowing that guys are there and they want me to get better, and, they're looking after me and they're helping me, and it was so awesome to have those guys in my corner in the off season. And I'd them telling me like cues that I need and stuff. I'd tell them what I was feeling, and we were able to kind of iron it out without even being with each other. So just these guys have been such a big help for me too.
Cool.
What's been the vibe with the new coaching staff, new players, new year?
I mean, it's always good in spring training, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's coming in, haven't seen each other in a while. Everyone's getting stronger, so it's always fun. I like our group's really young. We got a lot of guys that are clowns on the team, so it's fun to joke around with those guys. And yeah, I mean, I'm all about playing ping pong with the guys, playing golf, and
Yeah, you played golf yesterday, right?
Yeah, we
How'd it
played
go?
golf yesterday. Me and Weathers took down Rooney and Gus Bus. We stripped him for some cash. But yeah, it was a really fun event. I don't know who actually won the real thing.
Who put it together?
I don't know. I think it was Rooney and maybe Troy.
Okay.
Troy were in on that, but yeah, maybe Snelling. I think he shot pretty well. I don't know who won it though, but we got our own game, me and Weathers.
I saw Snelling put himself down as a scratch golfer. Like his handicap was actually 0. What was your handicap yesterday?
Mine was a 12. I usually play at an 8. I don't know why mine was a 12, but we actually
Wow, who
Disrespect.
put that
I
in
know.
there?
I mean, I'll take a few strokes if you can get them right. But I don't even think we played the handicap or anything. Everyone was just playing straight up. So
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
So, dude, I remember last year, one of my oh wow Max moments was actually when you gave up a homer to Trout, and you said I had what's the appropriate word? The guts on this podcast to throw him a changeup. Did you have any other of those moments where you were like, wow, like I really maybe not belong here, but I can dominate at this level?
Yeah, I mean, with my arsenal that it's been my whole life, what was I throwing? A fastball, slider, change up, and when I'm my best, I'm thinking like that every single pitch.
Yep.
I'm going to throw any pitch. I don't care what happens. Whatever happens after it leaves my hand, like I'm cool with it because I'm going to give it my all. And sometimes you lose that, especially how the season's so long and, ups and downs and just thinking about stuff and what hurts in your arm and what doesn't. It's so hard to stay consistent. So I give so much credit to the guys that are going 180 innings, 200, and
crazy,
putting
right?
up a 3 ERA. It's really impressive, and that's what I want to strive to do.
What did the build up to that look like? Because I'm sure some of those thoughts crept into your mind last year, and obviously I wasn't here, so I wasn't, able to talk to you about all of that. Hey, I'm a little worried about, the build up from a major elbow surgery, but I'm sure all those thoughts are in the rearview mirror now. What does that build up mentally and physically look like for you over the last few months?
Yeah, the biggest thing. So last year, I was. I didn't really train upper body much because I'd pinch my chest got a little too big, it pinched my elbow, and then I couldn't throw. So the most important thing is getting out there and throwing. So, the biggest thing for me was just putting on the size. And now I think it's the arsenal that I have now with those other 2 pitches. But, yeah, it was just a big learning experience.
ABS. Thoughts?
I don't really mind anything. Obviously, if I get one overturned, I'll be mad. But,
have you had a challenge yet? Did you go like this?
No,
yet?
I didn't do that yet. I know a lot of the guys would say that I should not be the one challenging them because in AAA I'd get some emotional calls, get it, and it'd always be wrong. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's just hard when it could determine a game. I think in the last inning, maybe
absolutely.
no challenges, let it play. But yeah, it's all up for interpretation.
To me, it would be so hard because the game would be going so fast. That would be the last thing on my mind. I'm so locked in on who's in front of me in the next pitch. I feel like it's easy to forget that you have that capability.
Yeah, you always want to strike. So I honestly always have it in the back of my mind, hey, was that there? But the catchers nowadays, they're so good at bringing stuff in, and you're not you're throwing the ball really hard, so you're not going to see exactly where he caught it. Fortes is probably going to fool me a couple times, but I just got to make sure I don't challenge anything.
So you experienced it in Jacksonville last year, but a lot is made about the strategy of ABS, right? Do you deploy it in the first or second? Obviously, you're mentioning some of it was emotionally charged. It's like, hey, I'm going to get a strike here. I felt very confident about that. But did you have that moment? Obviously, in spring training, you're not going to run into that because you're going 3 innings, 4 innings max in this setting. But when you were in AAA, was it like, hey, we might as well just save these until you get to a high leverage moment later in the game?
Yeah, that was always the plan until someone hit an emotional call, obviously. You always want to save them for the very last innings and stuff like that, or big situations, base runners on in third, in the third inning, that's a big situation in the game. So, yeah, I honestly can't remember too much, but I know that in AAA we did have some games go the other way because the challenge in the 9th would get overturned, the guy would get a base hit, and we'd lose the game. So it's kind of crazy. It'll definitely play a factor in a few games if it goes to the big league level. I don't think it's not this year in the big
No, it
leagues,
won't
right?
be
It's
this
just spring
year.
training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll definitely play a factor. So we'll see.
And not all spring training facilities have it,
Right.
right, at this point. Question for you. So one of the big things that me and him have talked about is the relationship between the pitcher and catcher. And we know like Sandy won his Cy Young with Jacob Stallings. Stallings not here anymore. Nick Fortes has never caught Sandy in a regular season game. Does that matter who you're with? Does it matter that it's Nick? Does it matter if it's Liam? I mean, for a pitcher, is it case by case?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely preference. Like, if you're rolling with a guy, like, and then you switch up catchers and you get shelled, like, you're not trying to make excuses, but, like, I don't know. It's just, like, more comfort. I don't really mind. I mean, these guys are all awesome. I mean, they're big league players. Right. I love throwing to Fortes. I love throwing to Hicks now. We just got to get on the same page. I think if you just have a guy on the same page with you and, you know, thinking how you do, calling your pitches, and you're not shaking too much,
Sure.
I think that you're going to like where you're at.
Is it team bonding, like go to dinner, pay for dinner, or like ladder exercises? How do you build?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more just chirping the guys in the locker room, getting comfy with them. Yeah, I mean, we went to some team dinners too. I think we're all pretty tight. It's an awesome room. It's a great group of guys. We're all young and we're all having fun right now.
Dude, what does this staff look like with you, with potentially Sandy, Weathers, Cabrera, you know, Bayoso I know is in the fold, Cal Quantrill. What do you think this staff can look like?
I mean, it's the same story for every team. I feel like everyone always looks good on paper, right? I mean, we're all really good pitchers, and it's a matter if you're going to show
Till
up
you
when
do
it
it.
counts,
Sure.
you know? So, I mean, I obviously have really high praise for everyone. I've seen everyone at their best. I've seen a lot of these guys at their worst, too. And, I mean, if we're all rolling, like, I mean, we could win a lot of games and just on our pitching staff. And not to mention all the bats we have and all the young guys. And it's going to be really exciting if we can piece it together.
Max, last one from me has to do with the four-seamer, and I know we kind of talked about that and, you know, training upper body and all that, but the velo is there, the shape is there as well. What did four-seam training look like? And obviously you mentioned sending the TrackMan data to Moss and to Braden Mann as well, but, I mean, in terms of working on a four-seam fastball, I feel like that's a really abstract concept. Oh, I want to make the shape better. I want to throw harder. Obviously there's a route to that, but what did the work into the four-seamer look like for you?
So in college, I threw a four seam, and then I came to Miami, and I maybe threw it for a little bit, but the staff at the time ended up switching my grip a little bit, and I went horseshoe in instead of horseshoe out.
Okay.
And so when I went to horseshoe in, it has your ball cut a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was throwing that, but like if I'm throwing it to lefties, I wasn't like breaking any bats, so it wasn't like true cut. So then I realized like if I'm not breaking bats, I don't need a cut fastball. So I went back to my kind of college grip. So it's more like a little bit ride and run. And obviously my offseason allowed me to get some more miles per hour on my fastball. I don't know if that's from changing the horseshoe in to horseshoe out, but I did put in the work. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited with where that's at and where all my pitches are at too.
Cool.
I have 2 or 3 quick ones, and then we'll let you go. We appreciate the time. Your slider, that also had a little uptick as well. What's the benefit of that, and is there something to be said about maybe keeping it at 88, 89 miles per hour to mix up your speeds?
Yeah, I mean, I always love where my slider's at, especially with the new sweeper. When I feel like, because I'm just playing around with the sweeper, and I really like it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can kind of feel guys now when I think that they're like, I'm going to throw a slider and I feel like they might get their head out front, then I can throw the bigger one. So, I mean, I just love being able to see that now with other pitches and not just going right to my slider. Like, I think I got a strikeout on my sweeper the other day, and I buckled a righty for the first time in my life, I feel like, with a bigger breaking ball. So, yeah, I'm just super excited with where those two breaking balls are at.
All right, outside the diamond, what'd you do in the off season? Give us some good Max stories, hunting or something.
I did a lot of hunting. I did a lot of ice fishing, a lot of landscaping around the house. I mean, it was a really good off season. I couldn't tell you like one specific story because, I mean, I got a short memory.
Can I ask you, how do you enjoy ice fishing? Like, what's the way to go about enjoying ice
He's a
fishing?
Chicago boy, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I love ice fishing. I don't know why, but just getting out there, cup of coffee, drilling holes, and just watching watching the. I mean, a lot of people are gonna be like, I'd rather be on the couch, but you got your heater in there. Sometimes we bring the grill in there and get some burgers going, and if you're catching fish, obviously, it's the best. But I mean, just being optimistic out there, looking at the graph, I think some will come by.
Sure.
But yeah, it's so fun. I've caught a lot of really big fish, and I've had a lot of fun out there.
Have you done that or no?
No,
You're
never.
a Chicago guy? No.
City guy. I'm also just
Okay.
an indoor person.
Okay.
Like I don't do the ice fishing. Like water sports too in the summertime. I know that's a big Minnesota thing. Like
On the
jet
lake,
skiing
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that. No idea how to do
No?
that stuff. So
What about Culver's? You like Culver's?
Culver's. Culver's is all right. I like Potbelly better than Culver's because they don't have Potbelly down here, I don't think, right?
no, they don't.
No, they
Maybe
don't.
at the airport.
Yeah, I miss it.
Okay. Well, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
No, it's been great. It's been unbelievable.
I heard you were really looking forward to this. Is that true, or
I
is
mean-
Louis making it up?
I mean, I am looking forward to this. This has been awesome. This has been awesome.
Max, have a great season, man, and we look forward to covering you again. I know him for the first time, but you are welcome at any point. We had like Troy Johnson up in the middle innings. If you're done one day, just come up. Come
pop
up,
up.
call some play-by-play, do some analyst work, and just text me. You have my number. I'll come get you, and we'll get you a headset, okay?
Did you see the
gonna be
double
awesome.
take? He was like, "Oh, I might actually do that."
I might
Yeah, I know, he
actually
did.
do that.
Yeah,
I'll tell
he did.
Brax about that too. Maybe even Weathers.
All right.
For
We'll
sure.
get up